Welcome to this special edition of Week in Review. This one this week and the one that is coming after, I trust, is going to be a rich source of encouragement to you. So not only for you, but your family, friends, tell people this is intended to help you. You know why? Because I am going to be celebrating right now, if you can believe it, at this very time, my 50th anniversary in full-time vocational ministry. And I want to share quotes and notes from 5 decades. Imagine 18,000 days God's had me serve Him, and He has been faithful. And imagine about 2,600 weeks. So I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of knockdown experiences, and yet I've learned a lot. And I want to impart it to you, to encourage you. God is a God, He says it in the New Testament, of all encouragement. If you look in the book of Habakkuk, and you want to make sure you know that book, because when you get to heaven, Habakkuk will come up to you, and if he says, hey, did you like my book? You want to say, oh, I'm sorry, I never read it. You know what? 600 years before Jesus, they were under judgment, and I believe America is under judgment. Even though I'm encouraging, I try to help people understand we have to awaken and turn, 2 Chronicles, from sin so that we can experience the blessing of God. We can't just give false hope and false prophetic words, and it's time for the greatest breakthrough and awakening, and revival is breaking out all over the place. I want it, I pray for it, I work for it with you, but you know what? Habakkuk was confused because the nation was also under judgment, and he was questioning God. And God spoke to him in Habakkuk 2:2. You know what he said? He said, write the vision. Make it plain so that those that read it can run with it. We need encouragement. We need vision. What is vision? Vision is a compelling picture of a preferable future. And without vision, the Bible says we run wild, and we need encouragement. I've tried to commit myself to be a radical encourager. I was with my friend Dr. Cheon recently. He said, Larry, you have a gift of encouragement. Well, I like to do it in honest ways. And in Hebrews 3:13, it tells us, encourage one another, not yearly, monthly, but daily. It says, lest your hearts be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. And so we all need encouragement. You know, when Joshua took over, do you remember 4 times? Be strong and of good courage. Be strong and of good courage. God was saying, Jesus encouraged the disciples, be of good cheer. I used to write, when I was pastoring in ministry, I would make it a real discipline and a privilege to write at least 3 or 5 encouragement notes to the flock every single week. I love encouragement. I remember reading where Ronald Reagan would write encouragement notes to people. And you say, Larry, I love to get encouragement. Well, you'll reap what you sow. So I want to encourage you. You know, at this time, imagine 50 years ago, I was working at the AFL-CIO headquarters across from the White House. And it was the end. I knew it. God told me, and when you put your hand to the plow, don't look back. He who puts his hand to the plow and looks back isn't fit for the kingdom of God. And so when I walked out, I looked to my left. There was the White House that I felt as a watchman I was called to really focus on, encourage, prayer for, and be involved in the political realm, which I do with you. But also, then when to the right, there was a church building not too far down that the Jesus movement was exploding. And we were every Tuesday night. Imagine, we had over 2,000 primarily young people, and I was honored with others to teach and equip. And so I look back now, and I've learned a lot. I've had the privilege as I've traveled with Derek Prince and others, and they've encouraged me, and I always write stuff down. That's why I want to give you some quotations to build your faith. At this point, I give God the glory for what? I say, man, 46 and a half years I've been married, covenant marriage. We had 4 children, 7 grandchildren. We planted churches all over America and even in other countries. I've had the privilege to mentor and disciple so many that are in leadership. And then, you know what else? I have the encourage to do the commentaries weekly and do a week in review. And I want to encourage you. This is a little different. So we're looking back not on a week, but imagine 2,600 weeks so I can encourage you today. Now, I want you to hear these. These are some special quotes that have motivated me. And if you came into my bedroom, you walk, you see on the mirror there, you know what? It says there a quote from somebody. I can't even tell you his name, but I wrote it down probably decades ago. Never surrender the presence of God to any circumstance. Now that's been a quote that has stayed with me. And these quotes that I'm giving you, they're the best of the best to encourage you. Now, let me tell you one. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, William Wilberforce, who was responsible after 5 years, fought the slave trade and brought it to an end in England. Do you know that before John Newton, who wrote Amazing Grace, died, he gave him a statement. And do you know Wilberforce carried that with him on his presence all the time? I forget if it was in his Bible or pocket. And it was encouragement to remain steadfast, to see the slave trade, abolished. Because if God called you to do it, he's going to back you. Now, I have a quote, and I'll tell you this. I've carried this in my possession for the 50 years. And you know what it says? It's a quote from Henry Varley in Dublin, Ireland, to a discouraged young man named Dwight Lyman Moody, D.L. Moody. And he was sitting on a park bench, and Henry Varley said, D.L. Moody, because he noticed he was discouraged, he said, the world has not yet seen what God will do with and through and for and by and in the man who is fully consecrated to him. This has motivated me as a quote for so long. And I want to share not only that one with you, but some other ones. So here you go. Are you ready? I'm going to give you. How about this one here? I love this one. Therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us run the race with perseverance, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Do you know, in my study, right there on my desk, I have this particular portrait. And what it says, the legacy, and it shows men of God in Bible, Moses and Nehemiah and Peter, and they're all standing as part of that cloud of witnesses encouraging, fulfill your destiny. You want to finish well, don't you? Well, I do, and that's why I'm sharing some things with you. The next one I'm going to share will be some insights. But this quote from the Bible is a rich one. Here's another one. I love this one. Ready? I'll prepare myself, and one day my time will come. Abraham Lincoln. Do you know he failed? If you study his life, he failed. He ran for office and he lost, and then he ran again. He lost. Failure. It was easy. Throw in the towel, give up, don't endure, don't persevere. But he said, I'll prepare myself, and one day my time will come. Probably the greatest president ever. He didn't quit. Now, there's times God pivots us and tells us to change our direction, whatever it is, but we want to prepare, okay? How about this one? Beware of the peril of familiarity. That's a man of God, T. Austin Sparks, over 60 years in ministry. Beware of the peril of familiarity. In other words, don't get comfortable. Oh, I know those scriptures. Oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I got that. Cheon told me once he was discipling a guy, and he said every time he'd share something with him, he'd say, yeah, I know it. And then one day he said, hey, Doug, whatever his name was, can I tell you something? When I share something with you to help you, you always say, yeah, I know it. And you know what he said? He said, yeah, I know it. All right, beware. How about this one? I have a poster in my room, only one, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And Elvita King, his niece, has stayed with us in the home. And I love this. This is what it says on the poster. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hatred cannot drive out hatred, only love can. That's why we want to walk in love and be a beacon of light in this world. All right, here's another one. I love this one. Henry Drummond, he was from Scotland. He was an evangelist. He said, I shall pass through this world but once. Therefore, any good that I can do, any kindness I can show, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. We want to seize opportunities. Yesterday, I got gasoline in my car. I washed the windows. I looked behind me. There was a girl. She was kind of dressed up nice. You know what I did? I just walked back, and these are little kindnesses you can do. And I just said, hey, can I get your windows for you? She went, oh, yeah, thank you. I did it. Do you know that opened up about a 10-minute conversation with her about the Lord? It was just a deed done in kindness, and it opened a door. How about this one? And by the way, I have a mantra I live by, hope, passing on hope to people every day, helping other people every day. I encourage you, let's follow Christ, because that's what he did. All right, here's another great one. I love this one. What men build with their charisma, they often ruin with their character. Isn't that true? That was on the plaque in the state of Washington when I ministered, and a man of God had it on the wall. I never forgot that. And I have seen that as I've seen churches, mega churches, go down the tubes because of a lack of character. All right, here's another one. I love this one. One word explains what destroys churches and ministries. You know who said this? Derek Prince, over 65 years in ministry, founder really of Intercessors for America. And he told me that. You know what that one word is? Ambition. You say, well, isn't there godly ambition? Sure there is. But in the book of James, it says that where there's jealousy and selfish ambition, there will be disorder and every vile thing. And I've seen ministries, I've been a part of them, I've watched people with selfish ambition bring destruction. And all of a sudden, like a church of 3,500 goes down to 500, and you say, what happened? I've seen the ambition in people. All right, we got to be careful. How about this one from Oswald Chambers? My utmost for his highest. You know what he said? An unguarded strength is a double weakness. Oh, how true. If there's no accountability, you say, well, I'm strong in this, strong in that. You want to make sure you have friends that support you, love you, correct you, and you invite them to do so. An unguarded strength is a double weakness. Here's another great quote that I like. By perseverance, even the snail made it into the ark. Charles Spurgeon. That encourages us. Endure. Persevere. Now again, there's times a season ends and you got to pivot. But how true that one is. All right, let me give you a few more quotes that I give you. This is a great one. Success, this is on my wall. Success is never final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Who said that? Well, the icon, probably the towering figure of the 20th century, Winston Churchill. All right? How about this one? Dietrich Bonhoeffer stood up to evils, Nazi Germany. He was martyred. He was hung. I recommend the book by Eric Metaxas. But what did he say? Silence is, in the face of evil, is itself evil. God will not hold us. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak, and not to act is to act. I mean, when I saw same-sex marriage coming down the pipe, I had to speak up. And when I did, I lost my job in a church. They said that's a deal breaker. They didn't want me going that way. So we have to stand strong and be courageous, but speak the truth in love. All right, can I give you one more? This is from my hero, Billy Graham. And Billy Graham said this, courage is contagious. We want to be courageous. And today we're living in a time where, I tell you, America is under judgment. We need to stay encouraged. We need to encourage the flock, but not with false encouragement. Tell people the truth. That's what Habakkuk did, and he saw change, and that's what we're going to see in America. I give you hope, and on my 50th anniversary in full-time ministry, and I'm going to continue this on as we go to give you courage and strength and hope. Let's believe God for another great awakening in America.